Hi, Joe Cerrone.
And Al Rosen.
Welcome to CAD 134, Basic AutoCAD for Interior Design. All righty, so
Today's outline of topics, 1026, furniture installation plan, that's chapter 9, drawing of the furniture installation plan, the other book. And we're going to talk about, which is really neat, is our review for midterm and practice exam. And then on 11.2, we have our midterm test.
that's right. So we'll just go through the basics first, and then we'll go into some more detail. But we've gone through and we've created this midterm practice multiple choice exam. And that'll give you an idea of what the midterm will be. The midterm is just going to be multiple choice questions from chapters 1 through 9. And the midterm practice exam is available starting today. And we'll take a look at that right now. So as we look at the midterm practice is located under quizzes and exams. And here's our midterm practice exam. And I've got it viewing as an instructor because I can't really show the questions if I'm showing it as a student. So when we look at these questions, and I'm going to just take a look at it this way. We have questions about commands like function keys. Al, are you allowing them to use the textbook and the computer for the exam?
Yes, textbook, computer, open mind, open anything you want, notes, whatever you have.
Right. What we really want to do is verify that people are in the class and they are who they say they are. On the midterm practice exam, you don't have to worry about the verification, but on the midterm itself, we'll use honor lock so that everybody can prove they are who they are. But as we look at the questions, a lot of them are taken from the chapter questions at the end of the chapters. And so things like modify commands, like how the move command works, working with grips. And if we look at the question type format, you'll have a question like this, and then you'll have the answers that you can choose from. Very typical multiple choice type exam. There'll be some matching questions. And these don't really display as well as I'd like them to, but being able to match commands with their choices of definitions for those commands.
Which is very helpful for you if you are going to go for a certification.
Right. And things like, justification MR, middle right stands for, okay. And that gets down to how you justify letters. And remember that letters would be like you had 9 dots, 3 across the top, 3 in the middle, and 3 across the bottom. And so the 3 across the top would be top left, top middle, top right, middle left, middle center, middle right, bottom left, bottom middle, bottom right. And just things like that are the things that Alan and I are really good at for getting people to understand how to use the tools so that you can then work with your design elements. So with that, the midterm practice exam is available. It's 60 questions. And how many times can they take it, Al?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. So just like the data on your phone, it's unlimited until it becomes limited. At least that's what I've been finding out. Back to the main splash page, and we're going to continue on so we don't make a huge recording. The midterm exam itself will start next week. So we're at the end of October. So it'll start on the 2nd, and it'll start, I believe it starts first thing in the morning at like
11 o'clock in the morning.
11 o'clock? I 7 a.m. Very good. So it starts November 2nd, 7 a.m. and you're welcome to take it first thing in the morning, but you don't have to take it that day as long as you complete the exam by Tuesday, November 9th at 11:30. And we gave you kind of a little bit more time with that. So we will have a little bit of time to touch base on that the day of the test or the last day of it. But really, you should complete it before then if you can. It's best not to wait till the last minute. When you take the exam, we'll be using HonorLock, which is a proctoring tool. You'll need a photo ID and a credit card to pay the $11 for unlimited exams. And basically what they do is they ask you to identify yourself with an ID. You show it to the webcam. They usually ask you to pan around the room just to see that you're by yourself. And then they monitor you while you take the exam. I've looked at some of the exams and it's just somebody's, sitting there working and looking at the webcam. It's a way to verify that people in the class are who they say they are. We are going to cover chapter 9 and we'll make a second video after we do our main. Actually, we don't need to do a second video because we have them already done. So let's take a look at that. So video tutorial for 9-1. What we're going to do is we are going to create this exercise shown right here. This is our tenant floor space exercise. As you remember last week, we went through and calculated out all the square feet of each of the individual rooms. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fill it full of furniture with blocks and attributes. And so as you look at this, the way that it lays out is you will draw each piece of furniture and then you will assign attributes. Now there's a command called ATTDEF, attribute definition, which you will put those in with. If I go into attribute display and I turn it on, you can then see the attributes for this exercise. And attributes are like tags, like prices. Okay, so when you go out and you buy something like a new shirt or something, it's got a tag on it with the price, tells you what size it is, etc. That's what attributes do. They attach themselves to the block file and they provide database information. And so the database information is the name of the furniture that tells you the size of the furniture and the material. And so as we look at these attributes, if I double click on one and I go to the properties, it's going to tell me that it's a furniture block and that the finish is oiled walnut. The size attribute is given and the product number. Okay, so if they had to reorder it, we have all that information. And it's very common when we get into large facilities with lots of furniture, being able to match that furniture to make a consistent look throughout the enterprise.
Hey, Joe, can
Yes,
you
sir.
also do, like if they're doing planning for heating and air conditioning or electrical or whatever else, can they still use the same kind of blocks and attributes to work?
The idea is to be able to trace everything. And so definitely when we do mechanical parts, we put part numbers on it and where to buy those parts.
Fantastic.
So as you start to work with things like attributes, you will find that everybody uses, especially in the architecture and interior design area, because that's going to link you to the furniture and where to get that furniture. It comes across as looking very messy, but that information is for the designers and you can turn it off with ATTDISP, attribute display off. And then we have these different layers within the drawing. All right, back to our main splash page. Let's bring this back over to the side. There's a very good tutorial here, tutorial 9-1. It's on YouTube. So I'm going to open it in a new window. And then I'm going to start maximizing so that everybody doesn't see my playlists. There we go. And so we went through this exercise. This is an older textbook, but the exercise is still the same. Just looking for my timeline. So here I'm talking about putting in these different pieces of furniture. And we go through step by step, attribute definition file, creating the desk, creating the tags. Here's the attribute definition, and tags are like text. And so you have to set up the attribute with a tag and then the name of it. And then you have things like invisible, constant, lock. You could have it verify so that when you put in a desk, it asks you, are you sure? You can put phones in with phone numbers, and then you can generate telephone lists of people that are in the office. Attributes are used all the time within AutoCAD. And so we create this attribute. Go ahead, Al.
Remembering when you say tag, you cannot have a space between one word and another word if you for information about it. If you want to do that, you put a dash line into it, and that will automatically allow you to do it.
That's right. And those are the little things. Other things like text height. When we're working in model space, text is really big. And so, you know, typical text heights are 4 inches in model space. When we work in paper space, some of the things that we were working on and we were talking about was being able to scale the viewports and using the setting in the dimension style to set the text height to the scaled height within the viewport. And it's a technique. Once you learn it, it's a great technique because then all your text heights are consistent. You don't have one piece of text really big and one really small and then trying to figure out, well, that looks about right. No, there's a specific way to do it. It's not real difficult once Al and I go through those things for you. So this video will walk you through the furniture installation. Looks like my computer crashed. Typical technology, right?
Yep.
And then we get it back going again, and then I pick up where we left off. So this is an excellent video showing you how to do the exercise. We go through working with Design Center, and this is a lot of the content that I created. And so when you see lounge chair, planter, and things like that, some of it is Al's Design Center. Remember, we showed you where you can get that content and you can add to it. And our plan is to draw the furniture plan 2D and then to start working towards using this throughout the course to be able to model it. And then as you start to learn some of the modeling techniques, if you decide to get your interior design certificate, you can take the CAD 136 course. Alrighty, so that's our video. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to hit escape here. We're going to go back to my main splash page. So once again, the midterm will be on 11/2 next week. This week, you have the practice midterm. Work on the practice midterm. If it was me, I would take it at least 3 times just to get an understanding of the questions and how I'm doing on that. And then when you take the midterm, it should be a piece of cake. You should be well prepared for that. Al, is there anything else that we need to talk about before I end this recording?
Not at all.
Sounds great. Well, we look forward to next week and taking the exam. If you have any questions, email us or instant message us. Thanks. Have a good day.